Hi, I'm Dimitri K, broadcasting from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida. I was reading a book called Beyond the God Particle, where the physicists are trying to explain the origin of the planet Earth in a chapter called Mass is Not Weight. Along with the scientific explanation, I also discovered a recipe for weight loss. In 1969, on the Apollo 11 lunar mission, humans first reached the nearest orb to their own world, the Moon, when Neil and Buzz first jumped off the ladder on July 21st. From their spaceship to the Moon's surface, they were featherweights. Their bathroom scale weight on the Moon would have been a mere 30 pounds if they would weigh 180 pounds on Earth. They had experienced the multi-billion-dollar diet of departing from planet Earth on board of Saturn V rocket and successfully navigating to the lunar surface where the force of gravity is 1/6 of that on Earth. But hold on. While their weight loss was a spectacular 83% apart from lean diet of mulch meat, veggies and tank orange liquid, their body's internal mass was no different on the Moon than on Earth. The quantity of matter that is Neil or Buzz had not changed is traveling the 200,000 miles to the Moon. Well, the moral of the story, for anybody who wants to quickly lose weight, the SpaceX mission probably is the answer. I came across with Lannie Battistini's exciting Latin jazz piano playing, listening to his album Moving On. I said to myself, I'd love to have Lannie recording piano on some of my tunes as well. A few months later, he did. Now, let's welcome our guest tonight, composer, producer, arranger, and sound engineer, Lannie Battistini. Welcome to the show, Lannie.
Oh, Dimitri, such an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very, very welcome. I noticed that you are from Puerto Rico. I visited Puerto Rico, San Juan, a few years ago. I found it very exciting, vibrant place, especially for music. How much of that culture helped you form your musical personality?
Well, do you know, Dimitri, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and I was very highly influenced by the music that I was listening back then. I mean, I must have been like 5 years old when I began my journey in music, listening and playing the piano and all that. Yeah, I think I would say that most of my greatest influence comes from the Caribbean music. So yeah, I would say, most of it came from Puerto Rico.
Yes, I see. Well, there is no way to be the other way around. Only the few days we stayed over there, we saw what influence would have a person have if really grew up at that place. I played your album and I liked very much Moving On, and just came across with a thought of Albert Einstein. He's saying, life is like a bicycle ride. To keep your balance, keep moving. Does the release of your album Moving On help you find or keep your musical balance?
Well, Moving On was a complete change in what I had done before. I have mostly put albums out there that were highly influenced by Latin jazz, and it was mostly done for the musician, jazz lover. Moving On was an attempt for me to explore other genres like R&B,
yes,
islandy, smooth jazz. So it was pretty much more mainstream. I wanted to express something else I had and move on. Move from what I used to do to new horizons.
Good title and good starting point. Let's continue listening to Baby Boy and then Moving On. You mentioned your musicians. I see the influence on your composition. Tell us something about your musician who is playing on that album.
Well, I was very fortunate because most of the musicians that were involved in my album were actually very good friends of mine who had performed with me before or then. I mean, or presently.
That's the best way.
The drummer had played with me in Miami years ago. I'm talking about 1988. His name is Jose V. Con Albelo.
Yeah.
And then the percussionist, the one who was responsible of the congas, the bongos, and all that, is Johnny Vergara. He's from Panama, and he was living in Tampa for a few years, and then he moved up to North Carolina. So we were like doing all this, like he had to stay at my place while he was recording the percussion for 3 days, and it was really an experience. The bass player was Michel Salazar, who is his Cuban origin and very, very gifted bass player. I had an old friend of mine from Berkeley who, in my time during the Berkeley School of Music, Richard Schumacher, who did electric guitars. And then I had another guitar player, Mark J. Vincent, who had just arrived from LA doing some of the guitars as well.
Well,
in the trombones, I had Jorge Doval. In the trumpets, I had Dante Vargas. I mean, most of these people are current, well-exposed artists. You know, Kalani Trinidad played the flute. The violin that you hear on, Caravan, my version of Caravan is Lemay Olano James, who is actually playing in the Florida Philharmonic Orchestra as a lead violinist. And, you know, I was very blessed with great musicians in this album.
I see, and I can hear it, and I can feel it. You just mentioned Caravan by Duke Ellington.
Yes.
With your original arrangement, how easy or difficult is it for you to take on such a challenge?
Well, you know, that song in particular has had so many versions
yes,
of it.
It is.
You know, it was very, very hard to actually sit down and make something that would be completely out of the box. So I figured that my way to do this would be maybe to put like a funk beat to it, and then an acoustic solo violinist there playing the lead, and then combining it with some Afro-Cuban beats and Puerto Rican beats. Like I used bomba in the second,
yes,
in a few the sections of it, and it was pretty much that, you know.
Yes.
The album needed to express moving on, so I needed to try to move away from all what was expected and begin to put in stuff that was pretty much newer.
And to make it personalized, which
Yes.
you absolutely did. That's the bottom line of the musicians. Even if you are covering something, you make it sound your way, and you did.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're listening to Emsus Olhos and Caravan. As a composer producer myself, I'm curious to know how does your creative process works? Do you write the melody, speculate on leading instrument, or do you immediately think of the melody and the arrangement? How does that work for you?
Well, it varies. There are times that I hear the melody. There are times that I hear chord changes, and less frequently I hear the whole thing, like if I was listening to a radio station.
Yeah.
And in this last case, the last kind, if I don't put it out and record it, it keeps playing over and over and over in my head till I get it produced. So yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. Melody, sometimes the chords, or sometimes all of it together.
Yes, absolutely. Depending on the situation and the mood and the influence.
Yes.
We're a small piece of the world. So we reflect on the world that is out there.
Yes.
We're listening to Emotion Devotion and Feels So Right. I would like to ask you probably a bit more personal question. One of your songs is titled Nesa's Way. Since this is since this is the name of your wife, is this song an endorsement or a confession?
A little bit of both, probably.
Yes.
I would say that this song is an endorsement. I actually tried to capture Nesa's personality and character on the song.
Yes.
The smooth beginning when she's telling me her idea of whatever she has in mind, and then it keeps building and building, and then at the end a huge explosion of high energy. You know,
Yeah.
Nesa is actually the reason that song was written. I mean, I wrote it for her because I wanted her legacy to stay after we wanted something to represent her, you know. We're gone.
It looks like, and she has been the driving force, and
She has.
I hope she liked it also. I definitely believe in this. We continue to listen, Hands in Motion, and after that, Nesa's Way. to share with us any future plans? Are you working currently on anything?
Well, besides of having been working with you in some of your own creations, I've been working on a solo piano CD that I'm supposed to be done with by the end of this year. I also been working with a classical flamenco guitarist that I'm not going to mention the name yet because I want to hear that everything is done. But the album is going to be titled Apasionado, and the passionate, and it's all original material, and it's all most likely like rumba flamenca kind of style. And then I'm also working on a single that's going to be titled Truth, and that's a song like Tony Bennett style, and I think it's going to be a very, very good year for me this year.
Well, I can feel the passion already coming out of the cell phone, so I can't wait to listen to some of those creations. And a little later in the show, I'm going to play a few things that you already recorded for me on the piano. And at the end of the conversation, let us wish Lannie Battistini health and creativity and welcome him to share his new music in our future shows. Thank you, Lannie.
Thank you, Dimitri. And, thank you so much for having me on your show, for real. Bye-bye.
We're listening to Precious Love and Show Me. Aside from the album Moving On, one more beautiful tune from Lannie Battistini, Anna Maria. mentioned, Lannie Battistini put his piano signature on two of my tunes, Law of Creation and Happiness. Most of the artists you're listening to on my show are independent artists. They're not supported by the major recording companies. If you like some of the music, just Google the name and support the artists purchasing their album from iTunes, Spotify, or the other digital media. Now it's time to say goodbye, and remember, hesitation is temporary, music lasts forever. I'm Dimitri K, broadcasting from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida.